afternoon, everybody out in the audience with us today. My name is Kim Spring. I am a business analyst here at Fleetistics, and I'm joined by my colleague, Lynn Rios. She is the account manager for Lion's Eye Institute. We're going to be talking to Stephanie Fuhrman from Lion's Eye Institute just to get her feedback on how the system works for them, what they do as an organization with the technology. So I'd like to introduce you, Stephanie. I understand you're an ocular recovery supervisor. Would you mind just kind of giving us an idea of what that is?
Well, I supervise our ocular techs who go all over Florida to recover donated tissue, specifically the corneas.
All right, great. Sounds like a very important job for sure. So I understand that you are fairly new to Lion's Eye. Have you used any type of technology like this in your, previous experiences?
No, not this. I know there's the snapshot that most insurance companies use, but this is the first time I've been a part of the Fleetistics.
Okay, great. Well, then I'd kind of off of that, like to ask you, how has the training and support been to get you up to speed since you've been on board?
Wonderful. Like I said, I've never used this program before, and now I think I could use it with no trouble.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
I'm happy to hear that.
That's great to hear.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your fleet. Can you kind of give me a description of the day in the life of your driver?
They can drive between 200 to 600 miles a day. Sometimes we get those go-getters that go 800 miles a day because we are traveling all over Florida. We are going to where our donors are. And they get stuck in traffic. It rains, all the weather gets them. It's not always fun to be on the road, but at least if something happens, this program will help me find them and keep everybody in check.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially carrying human organs and donations for recipients. That's got to be a very time-sensitive situation. So how do you actually use the tracking to accomplish getting them from place to place if they are stuck in a situation?
I can use it to see where they're located, where they need to be. I generally know where most of the facilities are and how far away they are, but I can also help redirect them if there's certain kind of backups.
Okay, that makes total sense. Would you mind sharing some successes that you've had using the GPS technology?
Well, we kind of share vehicles on a point because I have at least 10 techs in Tampa alone and only 3 vehicles. And when more than one person needs, to go at the same time, I have to see where a tech is and how soon they're going to be there so we can do time management. Because doing tissue donation is a time-sensitive process, so we need to do it as best as possible and do good logistics that way.
Great. So finding the nearest vehicle has been a very helpful tool for you to have.
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything that you can think of that might be an additional benefit that you are not receiving from the technology today?
Honestly, no, I can't think of anything. I know if I do have any problems, I can just call in and say, hey.
And now you can call me as well. And what have been some of the challenges that you may have faced, if any?
Well, when I first started, just making sure I wasn't pressing the wrong buttons and causing any kind of trauma to the system. But that's it. So far, it's been pretty smooth.
Great.
We also did upgrades right after you started, didn't we? Yeah.
So you were involved in that whole process. How was that experience for you?
It got me out of the office, so I went to the branch offices and installed them myself, put my hands on all the vehicles, got to know who had what and where it was.
That's amazing. Great.
So, hey, I want to pop a question in here. For all those people that tell me it's too difficult, I don't know how did you find the installation of the devices to be?
Extremely simple. I mean, they all go in the same spot. They all have the same connector. I think the only difficulty I guess you could say was a difficulty, was getting the zip tie around. But most of them pretty much stay put. They don't even need the zip tie. So,
All right.
yeah, it was pretty easy.
That's great.
I can't
yeah,
wait to send that to a man who thinks he's a mechanic and has told me he can't install his device himself.
We also noticed too, Lynn and I, when we were kind of reviewing your database, that you kind of heavily rely on zones. Can you kind of give us a description on how you use the zone geofencing?
No, I can't say I know that one.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Because we noticed that phone numbers were added to the zone, so I wasn't sure if it was maybe a way for you to have a point of contact at that location if you had somebody on the way to it or something of those sorts. But
this might be a good time to show the screen because you may not know you have that set up. That may have been from your predecessor. Shall we pop over?
Yeah, let me pop on there.
Can you both see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me find a zone, any zone. I'm just going to pick one at random. Show on map. When you hover over the zone, you see how the phone number pops up with the other information? Yeah, that must have been done by your predecessor, I suppose.
I believe so. And probably not all of them are correct, so I might have to go in and update.
Well, if you need any assistance, just let us know because we can always completely take out the zones and then import a new list if they're that drastically changed. So we'd be happy to take care of that for you.
Wonderful.
Now the kind of final thing I wanted to talk to you is I was researching on your website, and then I mentioned it to Lynn, and then Lynn mentioned it to me, that you guys host this annual event called the Eyeball Gala. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it's a fundraiser, and it's themed every year. It's a very fun way for people to get to know some of our actual donors or recipients and the doctors, the people that work here. It's just a nice little gathering and informational conference.
So if somebody were, if somebody were interested to find out more information about either participating or donating to the organization, where might they be able to go to find that information?
Either on our website, which I believe they've updated all that, or they could call here and talk to JL.
I'll add some slides in here with your contact information and phone number and some images of the website so that anyone watching will know how they can go about donating.
Great. Well, Lynn, I wanted to open up the floor to see if you had any additional questions for Stephanie today while we have her on the phone to share. I've kind of covered the information that I wanted to cover, so before leaving, I wanted to open that up to you.
Thank you, Kim. So, Stephanie, now that you've done your job with the tracking, what would it feel like if we had to take it away?
It would make things a little more difficult for me in my position because I have to keep an eye on where they're at, what they're doing, how long they're taking, because like I said, this is very time-sensitive work. And if somebody is lollygagging somewhere, I need to know where they're at. And also logistically make sure the vehicles are where they need to be so they can go.
All right.
Makes sense. Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you for your time today. This has been very eye-opening. I hope our audience will find it informational.
Eye-opening. That's a pun.
Eye-opening, yes, that is a pun. But I appreciate your time with us today. And as always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Lynn. You can reach out to really any of us here. And we'd be happy to assist you with all of your needs. So thank everyone, and To the audience, have a great afternoon, and we look forward to our next conversation, sharing some more customer benefits and features.
And as always, if you've enjoyed what you've watched today, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and look for us in the future.